Welcome to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Enjoy.
Peter denies Jesus 3 times, a story of failure and forgiveness. John chapter 13, verse 36 to 38, and chapter 18, verse 15 to 27. Peter was one of Jesus' closest friends.
Peace be with you.
Out of all the disciples, Peter was known for being bold, passionate, and confident.
Peace be with you.
He loved Jesus deeply and believed he would never leave his side.
Peace be with
But
you.
one night would test Peter in a way he never expected. It was the night before
Peace be
Jesus
with
was
you.
crucified. Jesus and his disciples had gathered together for the Last Supper.
Peace be with you.
As they ate, Jesus made a surprising statement. Matthew
Peace be with
26:31,
you.
Mark 14:27. He told them that before the night
Peace
was
be with
over,
you.
they would all scatter and leave him. Peter couldn't believe what he was
Peace be
hearing.
with you.
He quickly spoke up and said, "Even if everyone else abandons you,
Peace be with
I
you."
never will." Matthew 26:33, Mark
Peace be with
14:29. Peter was certain of himself, but
Before the
Jesus
rooster
looked at
crows,
Peter with
you will
compassion
deny
and
3
said
times
something
that you
shocking.
even know me.
Before the rooster crows, you will deny 3 times that you even know me. Matthew 26:34.
Even
Luke
if I have to die with
22:34,
you, I will
John
never
13:38.
No!
Peter
Even if I
strongly
have to die
disagreed.
with you,
No,
I will never
even
den-
if I have to die
No!
with you, I will never
even if
deny
I have to
you.
die with you,
Matthew
I will never den-
26:35,
No!
Mark 14:31.
even if I have to die
Peter
with you,
meant every word,
I will never deny.
but he had no idea what was about to happen. Later that night, soldiers arrived and arrested Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Matthew 26:47-56, Mark 14:43-50, Luke 22:47-53, John 18:1-12. Everything happened so fast. The disciples became afraid and scattered into the darkness. Peter followed from a distance. Matthew 26:58, Luke 22:54. He wanted to stay close enough to see what would happen to Jesus, but far enough to avoid being arrested himself. Soon, Peter found himself standing in the courtyard of the high priest's house. Matthew 26:58, Mark 14:54. A fire burned in the center, and people gathered around it to stay warm.
You were with Jesus.
Peter sat among them, trying not to attract attention. Then a servant
You were
girl
with
looked
Jesus.
closely at him. "You were with Jesus," she said.
were
Matthew
with
26:69, Luke 22:56. Peter
You were with
immediately
Jesus.
replied, "I don't know what you're talking about." Matthew 26:70.
You were with Jesus.
That was the first denial. A little later, someone else recognized him. "You are one of his followers." Luke 22:58, Matthew 26:71-72. Again, Peter denied it. "No, I am not." That was the second denial. Time passed. Then another person looked at Peter and said, "Surely you are one of them. Your accent gives you away." Matthew 26:73, Mark 14:70. Now Peter became nervous and frightened. He began insisting that they were wrong. "I don't know the man." Matthew 26:74. That was the third denial. And at that exact moment, a rooster crowed. Matthew 26:74-75, Mark 14:72, Luke 22:60. The sound cut through the cold night air. Suddenly Peter remembered the words Jesus had spoken only hours earlier. "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." At that moment, Jesus turned and looked at Peter. Luke 22:61. It wasn't a look of anger. It wasn't a look of hatred. It was a look filled with sorrow, love, and understanding. Peter realized what he had done. The man who had promised never to leave Jesus had denied even knowing him. Overwhelmed with grief, Peter left the courtyard and wept bitterly. Matthew 26:75, Luke 22:62. It was one of the darkest moments of his life. But Peter's story did not end there. After Jesus rose from the dead, he met Peter again. John 21:15-19. Jesus did not reject him. He did not shame him. Instead, Jesus forgave Peter, restored him, and gave him a new purpose. The disciple who once failed became one of the boldest leaders of the early church, Acts 2:14-41. Peter's story reminds us that even sincere people can make mistakes when fear takes over. But it also teaches us something even greater. Failure is not the end when God's grace is involved. No matter how far we fall, God's forgiveness can lift us up again. And just as Jesus restored Peter, he can restore anyone who turns back to him. That is why the story of the rooster's crow is not just a story about failure. It is a story about mercy, forgiveness, and second chances.
Hi, friends. If you enjoyed this story and feel inspired, there's so much more where that came from. On this channel, we dive into uplifting, faith-filled content to encourage you in your journey. If you're looking for more inspiring Bible stories, lessons of hope, and moments to strengthen your faith, hit that subscribe button now. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss an update